This review looks at two versions of the 25-ton Liebherr R916. The advanced version is NZG 685/24 and it's in the colours of Gubbels, a Dutch company. The R916 classic version is NZG 891/01 and it's in the colours of the German company Brodbeck. Both models come in a similar Liebherr branded box style, and for the unboxing we'll go classic instead of advanced. Inside, the box consists of two expanded polystyrene trays, and they're helpfully marked top and bottom, so there's no excuse for opening the model upside down. Oh, hang on a minute, lifting the lid seems to be a bit of an issue. It's not factory sealed anywhere. Maybe the Brodbeck version of the model is just a little bit shy. Well, sorry Mr. Model, there's no escape from being reviewed on Cranes etc. And if you have to be yanked out by your arm, so be it. The model is wrapped in some soft paper and that helps protect the paintwork. And a nice touch is that there's a bag containing some spare parts. There's a little bit of packaging to remove, some tape secures the pins which lock the bucket in place. And to keep the track links together during shipping, there are a couple of elastic bands. The level of detailing is very similar on both models, and we'll start by looking at the Gubbels. It's simple underneath, but the metal track shoes look good. The track frames are reasonable and there's no working rollers. Moving up to the cab, it's nicely detailed with window seals, and internally all of the controls are modelled well. At the back there's a mirror and exhaust on top, and the Gubbels colour scheme looks nice with plenty of graphics. At the front there's a metal step and handrail, and there are hoses running to the main boom cylinders. There's some detailing on top of the body, and the silver pipes on top of the boom are particularly good. There are some thin hydraulic pipes on the boom and stick, the graphics are good, and the connection rivets are very small. The bucket is a reasonable metal casting with decent teeth. The Brodbeck version obviously has different graphics and paint scheme, and it looks very attractive, and it also has some Liebherr markings. Aside from the colour scheme, these models are similar, but there are some differences. The connection point of the boom rams is a little different. The main differences are on the cab with a solid pillar on the classic version. And there are also other differences in the shape and styling. There's also a small difference in the materials used. The Advanced has a plastic grab rail and the Classic has a metal grab rail. At the end of the stick, the connection points are different on each model. And because of that, the buckets are slightly different with some spacer packing on the Classic version. The Advanced version also benefits from having a roof aerial. So although the differences are small, it's nice that NZG have picked them out rather than just using the same castings. This is a Cranes etc. safety advisory. When wearing a hard hat, always make sure it's the correct design and size. Time to test the features, and we move out onto the Cranes etc. construction site where the tracks are too stiff to roll on a smooth surface. And even by hand they do feel very tight, but they are spring loaded to keep the tension. Here we've whistled up some rough terrain and the crawler tracks do roll on a rough surface. Also, as you would expect, you can rotate the model, and it's quite smooth and precise with no rocking of the body. Next up, it's the digging functions. And there's a good range of movement on the boom and stick, with the hydraulic cylinders being quite stiff so they will hold a pose. Even at full reach the model is perfectly stable, and there's also no problem in folding the stick right up to the boom and lowering the boom to reduce the headroom to make a decent transport load. If you're the sort of person that likes mucking about in drains, you can also reasonably replicate digging a drainage trench. The functionality is very similar with both versions of the model, but there is a difference with the bucket movement. On the Advanced version there's a full range of movement both in and out, but on the Classic version the inward movement was very good, but the outward movement was less good, with the piston perhaps being a bit too long. One feature that is common though is that the bucket is removable, and it's a simple matter just to pull out the two steel pins and take the bucket off. If you happen to be a forward-facing kind of person, then you can refix the bucket facing forwards. One thing you can always do with models like this is to use them as transport loads. And here we see a heated argument between two members of the Cranes Etc. team who are close to fighting about whether width markers are necessary or not. These are two nice versions of the Liebherr R916 excavator by NZG. They are in a limited edition of only 300 models each, and with nice details, functionality and colour schemes, they are recommended.